Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yeah, peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's an art tool. Reflect on all the juice like torture. It's on you, tell the truth.
Yeah, we about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Listen. Yeah. Aim in the fit so you see in the mirror. Play with your focus and watch it get clear. Polish your crown, turn it up if you wear it. You live in the root, release what you're fearing. And watch it all rise, the righteous will hear it. They calling us twisted, I'm not even caring. Because it's unseen, the mind is too barren. They won't even heal it, they pass it to cheering. We over here healing, conversing and listening. Know that the truth isn't always appealing, but end it with healing and find your beginning. Frequency positive, what you receiving. Perception is up to you, what you believing. What you retrieving, mentally speaking. Life that they breathing, no words from a heathen. Don't know it all, but together undefeated. Conversation, rather want it, you need it. Could fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the trial with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation, rather want it, you need it. Could fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the trial with the students and teachers. All got a voice, we the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Hey. Yeah. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. We about to have a good conversation. Yeah, let's go. Praying for truth cause the world is so fickle. Keeping my mental how clean as a whistle. Attention's a trap that can lead you astray. Sneering this ship through the storm and the haze. Real conversations are lost in the greed. Others get lost in the web that it weaves. Sift through the rhetoric, uncover schemes. Knowledge inherited, this is imperative. I got a lot on my mind and I'm sharing it. Apples to oranges, it ain't no comparisons. I'm the type that'll never break character. I'm the type to make memories and cherish them. Trust intuition and doubt or disparity. Pursuing the echoes of wisdom. Chasing that moment of clarity. Conversation rather one if you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track with the students and teachers. All got a voice who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen. Conversation rather one if you need it. Come fill up your tank before it's depleted. Don't care if you calling on Allah, Jesus, Buddha or Christian, not being facetious. Come to the track with the students and teachers. All got a voice who the ears that'll listen. Who the ears that'll listen. We the ears that'll listen.
It's on you, tell the truth.
Peace, everyone. This is the People's Podcast. We're the ears that will listen where your opinion matters. Before we even explain what's happening, think about this. If you saw something serious happening in public and you pulled out your phone and to record it, would you feel protected or would you feel at risk? Because in today's world, a camera can act as a witness, a shield, or a reason you get stopped. That's the part many people never consider until the moment is already happening. Today, we're talking about something many people believe they understood until it actually happens in front of them. A protest across the country. One phone has been heard, one phrase has been heard more and more and more. Press on press. Some people believe saying it protects you. Others believe It's being used as a shield. So the real question is, does filming protect you, or can it actually get you arrested? Tonight we discuss the journalism shield, right, responsibilities, and the protest line. I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory real quick. So, recently, journalism covered a protest where detained and charged while documenting was happening during the demonstration. They claimed they were there to report an information to the public, not participate. Authorities argued their actions interfered with the situation. The incident started a national conversation because today journalism doesn't only belong in the news stations anymore. Now it's live stream cameras exist, independent reporters exist, activists record encounters every day, people document events on their phones. So when someone holds up a camera in public, are they a witness or are they part of the event? That's where the confusion begins. The First Amendment protects freedom of press, but the law never clearly imagines millions of citizens acting as real time reporters. And now the system is trying to figure out where the lines actually are. This conversation isn't really about one arrest, it's about something bigger. Who gets the documented truth? Because cameras have changed power in the past, and the public depends on media organizations to show what happens. Today's moments are recorded instantly by ordinary people that can expose wrongdoing, protect citizens, protect officers, or escalate situations. The tensions come from this. A camera can create accountability, but it also can create interference. So society is facing a new reality in journalism, a profession. Is journalism a profession or is it a public right? And if everyone is the press, then who is responsible? To be honest, we here at the People's Podcast are considered journalists at times. So I don't know. Let's have a good conversation. Welcome, SGF Graham.
Peace, peace. How you doing?
All is truly well. You know, besides this that we're going to cover tonight, there's so much going on in this world today in a negative manner. Do you feel that?
Yeah, it's a lot going on, explained and unexplained.
Yeah. And like I can feel the energy trying to force me into that direction to follow suit with most, which I'm not going to allow it to do. But I feel the shift. I feel very tired lately. I feel very drained lately. I feel like I don't belong sometimes.
I mean, the shift is, you can't fight the shift. I mean, you can decide where you're going to be at during the shift or where you want to fall at once the shift is complete. But the shift is, I guess you want to say worldwide. Like, rather you talking about countries shifting power or people shifting, the world shifting as in the fault lines. South Carolina has gotten like 4 to 6 earthquakes already this year. Like it's things are changing physically and spiritually to where you just got to decide where you're going to be at or already be where you're going to be before the shift even happens.
So Where do you think that makes a person a journalism? What do you think makes them a journalism? Just happen to be at the right place at the right time and you have your phone? Or is it, that you're covering something so that the crowd can know or the world can know?
Mm, I don't know. I'm not a real fan of journalists. At least nowadays journalists, because nowadays journalists were probably people that could have did something about something versus just holding the camera from a distance. To say they was the first one recorded something. So I guess it depends on what it is. If it's something like something that happened on September 11th years ago, it ain't too much you can do about that if you standing from a distance. But if it's some type of brutality going on, then why are you standing there with a camera? So
So what happened was there was a now I don't know exactly the whole thing because I don't really read the news because the news to me is biased and one-sided. It's his story, who's ever telling it. But I do know that there was this person that is a reporter of some sort was in a situation where they had the rallies going on in Minnesota about the ISIS and about them like just pulling over people not because of they're illegal, because they're racial profiling people. They're picking people that look like a certain way and they're pulling them over. And there was a protest going on, and somebody and one of the people that were covering it got arrested because they said that they were not they weren't the press. They weren't doing what the press should do. They were actually interfering. They were actually part of the protest. And I think, like you said, it's intent. It's about their intent. But do you feel that maybe their intent was? I mean, I can't ask you about that situation because I don't know if you know about the situation. But there's a lot going on in Minnesota right now, and there's a lot of protests going on. And for some reason, Minnesota has been targeted by ISIS. You know that? SGF Graham, did you know that?
oh yeah, with all the Somalis and Islamic beliefs that's going on in Minnesota, they're tying it to Somalians doing scamming, and pretty sure it's somebody else up there that they're trying to get out. But yeah.
So one of the reporters were there investigating the situation, and they got arrested. So, what rights should you have to be able to cover it without crossing that line, saying, "Oh, now you're part of the problem"? What do you think?
Uh, I mean, how can I say it? I mean, you dealing with the powers that be. You know, more than likely it was a side that they voted in that created these laws. And honestly, I do think journalists be in the way a lot. Whatever, real journalists, we just got other people just holding cameras, hoping they get some views. But
Hmm.
like when it comes to like war, I would hate for a journalist to be signed to my unit because now I got to protect somebody that don't even have nothing to protect themselves or me. Whatever, and I always got to be yelling at you like a little kid for you to keep up. And the kid, like that's crazy that a journalist, you want to journalize, that stuff to the T that y'all want to. That's crazy to me. Um, when it comes to the Minnesota thing, I don't know. I don't know what the journalists were doing, but and this not faulting anybody for anything that happened to them because I still don't agree with how things took about that I saw or whatever. But you're You think you have that much power that you can box in somebody that has complete power over you? Like I really think the the American population, at least the ones, the youth, the age group that's doing these protests that they're doing in Minnesota, um, they're causing trouble with people that's there to give trouble and then upset that trouble happens.
Hmm.
They're not even in a position to give trouble back. That's like me being a nuisance to a dog that's in a fence. And then when that dog get loose, I scream bloody murder because it came after me. Whatever, rather that dog was a mean dog in that fence the whole time or not, or whatever. You kept poking at the dog because you felt like that dog was under some constriction or some type of rule, and not understanding that that dog didn't care nothing about them constrictions once that dog got out the fence or whatever. You messing with, I'm not calling them dogs because I don't know who listening or whatever, so I don't want them to take that the wrong way. But you dealing with you dealing with people that's waiting for the go mode, that's waiting to finally do stuff that they've been wanting to do, and then we give them a reason and then cry about it because we gave the tyrant a reason to be a tyrant.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, there was a couple people that were arrested that were supposed to be doing journalism.
But while they were doing journalism, what were they doing? Were they in the way? Were they stopping arrests? Were they like if you're gonna play the political game, then you got to play the political game. You can't be on one side saying I'm gonna be a vigilante, and then when the vigilante stuff don't work, then you scream political side or whatever. You want to do everything by the court book or whatever. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't work like that. If the shoes was on the other side of on the other foot, and it was something that they had control of, and somebody was trying to deter it for some way or whatever, they would feel the same way or whatever. Like you got to play the game that you want to play. And they're trying to play a game. They're trying to get physical once again. It's like a toothless dog getting physical with a dog with all incisors in their mouth.
Well, this is what they said. They said in January of 2026, independent journalists Don Lehman and Georgia Fort were arrested and indicted, or yeah, indicted on federal charges following their coverage on an anti-ICE protection at City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota.
To
The
my Don
department,
Lemon CNN.
yep.
That's a gimme. Uh, my bad, my bad. I'm online. My um, that was just a really to me that was a power move to show that if we'll arrest him, who do you think you are? Um, I'm pretty sure them charges gonna get dropped. He was just, it would rather he knew it or not. Not sure which one he wind up on, but that was just a show of force to everybody else. Um,
So the
my opinion, of course.
Department of Justice alleged that they participated in a takeover style attack on the church during a Sunday service on January 18th to targeted a pastor who also serves as a director of the local immigration and customs enforcement field. Specific allegations in the federal indictment against the journalist include conspiracy to deprive rights, violating the FACE Act, intimidating the pastor, physical obstruction, maintaining security, and then the defense argument is what is it, Lehman and Forrest Fort have both plead not guilty, maintaining they were present solely as journalists to live stream the document the event. Their legal team argued the rest are unprecedented attacks on press freedom, and the government claims are contradicted by available video footage. That's what that says so far.
See, this is why this is when I feel like it's just a act. When so you telling me Don Lemon and this George guy, they knew
Georgia. It was a female.
they knew the next secret operation that ICE was going to do. They knew
Well,
it. They knew it before ICE let the information get out that this is where they're going to go to apprehend this the head of the snake, because that's what it sounded like.
the
Whatever.
pastor was a part of ICE. The pastor was a part of ICE.
The pastor was part of ICE,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody that was trying about to get arrested by ICE.
Nope, the pastor was a part of ICE.
I'm lost in. You might have to tell that story all over then. So the pastor was a part of ICE. Don Lemon was in this church. So the pastor, what was they doing? A quiet operation to get as many foreigners that they could secretly into this church, and then arrest them at one time.
So they said in January, the independent artist or journalist Don and Georgia Fort were arrested, indicted in federal charges. It was an anti-ICE protest at that church. An anti-ICE protest. The Department of Justice alleged they participated in a takeover-style attack on the church during a Sunday service. The protest targeted a pastor who also serves as a director for the local Immigration and Customs Enforcement Field Office. The pastor serves as a director for the local Immigration and Customs Enforcements.
Oh well, definitely not taking no sides of ICE on this. But you just can't come in my church or my building and think because you're a journalist, you can come in here and do whatever you want to or whatever, because I can too, and that's called leave the building. And if you don't leave the building, then yeah, these charges occur or whatever. As a journalist, you see what I'm saying? They get into the point that they don't care about laws that they're screaming about. They're breaking all types of laws just to cry about it when things happen, and then they make the people that go about it the right way look bad, because now all the defenders that's like the preacher, they can say, hey, because it always winds up like this, we thought that this group was going to be forceful too, so we went
Mhm.
on and acted like this from the jump, since we got people like Dunn and them that's saying, hey, screw the rules. Rules don't matter if you're a journalist.
That's what we're talking about tonight, because does rules matter? Does credentials matter? Does it matter? Because journalists, I do believe, sometimes go too far. Like if for somebody's famous and whatnot, paparazzi's in your face 24/7. You don't have a life anymore where it's quiet. They're taking pictures of you in the shower.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that it's about going too far. Do you believe that journalism is now freedom of speech where you could say whatever you want to? Because you're just all you got to do is say, I'm a journalist, I'm press. And then you're above the law.
Yeah, it has no reputable. It's a lot of people out here or whatever. They you can say whatever you want with no facts or whatever, and people will run with it. and they would be okay to even cite you as a reference, and you could have two whole followers or whatever, and they'll be like, I heard it on this, and you'd be like, well, who is that? And they'll be like, oh, this person I follow. Oh, because you follow them, they're correct now. Oh,
Mm.
okay. Well, like that's what I run across a lot.
So, Kendall, welcome.
Hello.
So, a journalist gone too far sometimes in Canada.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I've seen too many things lately for how it's been, and it's still pretty crazy right now.
So, do you think that just because somebody has a recording device, does that mean that they're a journalist?
I'm
Kendall?
sorry, what was the question?
Do you think if somebody has a recording device, camera, phone, whatever the case may be, does that make them considered to be a journalist?
No, it doesn't.
Do you think journalists should go above and be above the law though?
No, they shouldn't. There's no point of going above the law if you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're breaking certain points and rules for obvious reasons. So no one's above anything for respect.
Right. SGF Graham, when does recording become interfering?
Um, when people can use you to get away, when you're completely in the line of fire, um, when there's people hurt and you can actually help, versus record. Um, those are a few things that I could think of.
What do you think about filming police officers? Should it always be allowed in public?
Yeah, as long as you out the way. Well, as long as you're not interfering with somebody getting help or whatever they're doing, then yeah, I think it should all be recorded. If you're doing everything by the book, then you should have no problem being a great example to the other cops.
I,
But if there's shooting and stuff going on and you're in the dead smack in the middle of the fire zone, then you might need to get out the way.
yeah. I've seen certain, or I've heard, I've never seen personally, I've heard cops, and I'm not saying they're dirty or whatnot, because that's not my place to say. They have turned their body camera off a few times and went off record and be like, we're just gonna wash this out and call this a wash. We don't need to do no further investigation. Are you okay? You're not hurt. Go about your business, and we're going to take care of this person that did the shooting. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. I've seen that happen. Doesn't mean that it's bad, because at the end of the day, are you just an officer and you have to obey by the law 100%, or can you have humanity also?
Nah, keep that camera on. Keep that camera on. Cause I ain't got no proof that you gonna take care of whatever you said when you leave. Keep that camera on. I ain't do nothing wrong anyway. That's how I would feel. Keep that camera on. We can go through the due process. Cause I don't know what we're gonna take care of. Yeah, I'm sure you are. You don't mean it's gonna be taken care of like I want it to be taken care of though.
I've heard an incident where somebody tried carjacking somebody, and this person wasn't supposed to have a gun on them because they're a felon. They're not supposed to carry a firearm. But this person tried carjacking him, and they pulled up the firearm and they grazed the other person by the shoulder. And the cop come up and said, don't worry about it. Are you okay? And we know this person. This person's been trying to steal cars around here. We're going to take care of this person. You go about your day. I ain't even going to run your name and worry about nothing about you.
Nah, I ain't with it. I don't trust that because you can have that in your little folder somewhere or whatever. This is the second time I've had a pistol or something, and now I'm getting charged for twice. Well, they keep notes too. They keep notes, good and bad. So
What do you think, Kendall? Do you think that everybody should go by the book, or sometimes have use humanity and use compassion?
I would say both. You got to be logic and practical before you act upon certain situations, before you respond to anything, really. Before you will do anything else that's going to cause more conflict, it's not really needed. So, yeah, I'd say have more understanding with every situation that we're in. So, that's a whole other dilemma.
Yeah, I see both sides of it too. So, is citizens journalism necessary for accountability? Do you think, SGF Graham, is citizen journalism necessary for accountability?
What do you mean citizen journalism? What accountability?
I don't know. That's what it asked.
I mean, well, I mean, law enforcement can't. I mean, they can't lie. I mean, well, not gonna say they can't. I'm not gonna say they can't. It should be harder for them to lie. Well, I mean, it don't really work like that. So I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay. I can receive that, because yeah, I don't know how to really answer that question either. Because this day and age, it'd be nice if everybody did what they're supposed to do and follow the laws like they're supposed to, but doesn't mean they're going to.
I mean, we've seen things played out on camera and it still um didn't turn out what people thought it was gonna be. So I mean, the camera thing is all nice and said and done, but when it doesn't matter what the camera shows, then it's really just a smack in the face.
And I've seen people pull out a camera and they rather record for clicks and likes and shares instead of stopping the situation to at hand. I don't think that's acceptable neither.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the main thing I was saying, or whatever, when you can give help and you decide to sit there and record for your views, that's when I got an issue with you.
So, Kendall, I don't know what the direct law is between journalism and not, but they were asking, should the law change to define more modern journalism? Like, a lot of people become journalisms now. Like I said, we're considered journalists, kind of. In like, if we're out talking to somebody and wanting to know their backstory and what happened to them that made them become in a situation, whatever the case may be. Let's say we're out on talking to someone, a homeless man, and we were wondering what happened and stuff like that. That's journalism. But we're not considered journalism as in we went to school for it, and we're not part of a big organization of like press and whatnot. So should it change? Should the laws change to protect modern journalism compared to what it used to be? I mean, because society has changed.
I would think so, especially for when you don't ask for types of permission while you're recording. A lot of people don't do that these days. So when you're asking kindly, please don't record me, and for so and so for such reasons, for instance, protecting your kids and such. We've had many situations recording our children while they're like playing in the park and stuff like that because it's kind of weird. We've had multiple situations like that over the years for how people are just constantly recording you in public. You're like, why are we why are we recording me? I don't get it. So I've had it many times happening to me, especially for the past couple of years. I'm always getting recorded in public without permission. So I'm like, can you please ask me first since I'm always out in public, right? So it's out of consideration, I would think so. And then it's okay to do so. But it's also by law, if you don't ask, you can also get charged. Especially in Canada, it's more very particular for how it is.
What do you think, SGF Graham? Do you think that the laws should change to define modern journalism?
Uh, no. I think the people decide who they want to listen to as far as in journalism. Um, well, when it comes to stuff like that, like who can tell the information or who not, if we allow them to make a law on that, then the information gets back jaded because now they're controlling who's giving the information, and so they want to stay in that position, so they're not going to give no information outside of um what they should get to stay in that position. It's kind of
So,
like the algorithm thing or whatever, like we honestly in their eyes we have too much power right now because of the internet. That was the only reason the files without even speaking on it, that was the reason why that came out. That internet, the age of information, made it where it's terribly hard to keep things as discreet as they used to be. So now they're controlling the algorithm, and that's the reason why they want to change the law on the news or whatever, because even the elected president, he made it a point to complain about that during inauguration, um how it was too many freelancers out there or whatever, and things that's being said can't be controlled. So that's just something I keep in mind. If they make that a law, it's pros and cons to it all.
I asked if somebody has to give consent to be recorded, and they said whether you need permission to record someone depends on the state consent. Laws in the and the sitting in one party consent states, like Ohio, can record if you are part of the conversation. In an all party consent state, like California and Florida, everyone must agree. Recording is generally allowed in public, but not private places, with exceptions of privacy. One party versus all party consent. Roughly 36 states are one party, meaning only one person in the conversation, which is the person recording, can do it. And then about 11 other states require all parties to consent.
If it's my phone and I want to record, then oh well, I can. I mean, once people start to understand that these pros and cons aren't really as big as they think they are, and they're not going to hold up in court with everything that's going on or whatever, that's just people that's scared to say they got something on their record or whatever or something like that. If I feel the need to record, I'm gonna record. Well, I'm saving myself. I'm not worried about that person because I don't pull out my phone to record what just happened. Like I will always be the one that after it happened, I'll be like, "Dad, why I didn't pull out my phone?" Well, I've
Yeah.
always been that person. Well, so if I pull out my phone to record, I'm recording for my own protection or for my loved ones' protection. So I could care less about how anybody felt. Like the fact that people let stuff like that teeter them because the state or the country said that you can't, man, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to be quiet before I say something rebellious or something.
So there's different circumstances where it's either legal or illegal. Expectations of privacy. It is generally illegal to record audio or video in private places like bathrooms, dressing rooms, or in cases in private homes without permission. So if you're in your home and the other party finds out you recorded them, they can actually probably sue you for it. Workplace rules. Even if it's legal in your state, and an employee can or the employer can have policies prohibiting recording. Public versus private property. When While you can often film in public spaces like streets and parks, private property owned in stores or gyms can restrict filming. There's a disclaimer. Laws can vary significantly by location and specific circumstances. Consulting a legal counsel if recommended by for specifics. But yeah. So it all depends on where you're at, you know? And I don't know. And Kendall, you were saying that there was an incident where your nephews and niece were riding on a like a carousel or something, and
Oh
someone
yeah.
started recording them.
Yeah, that happened last season. I'm pretty sure I showed you the video a long time ago. My mom caught them recording, and they were just going around the carousel. They were like young teenagers at the time. They're all still kids to me. So she caught them, and she asked them, "Why are you filming my kids?" And they're like, "Oh, we're just observing." And I'm like, "Are you sure you're just observing?" And they got caught, and they got arrested. It was like known as a predator type of situation that was going on. So at least she was able to spot it right on from what happens. So that's a whole nother dilemma for how it's been.
Yeah, certain things are just creepy.
Too much lately.
Yeah. So this says, can a person record a conversation without consent of the other people? And it says, if you're starting to wonder whether someone might be active, oh no, this is something totally different. I don't even know why that come up at then. Talking about dating sites. Can it be used as evidence in a court? Can I record a conversation without his or her permission? It all depends on the county in the country in which you're located and what type of recording you're making. I don't know. I don't know. I see so many times that a person's like, good thing I had my phone on record, you know, so I am able to protect myself. And then I've seen certain situations where the person was like, man, I wish I would have recorded that to protect myself. Ugh, this world is weird to me. I can't even tell you. I just find it strange. Like you guys just walked. I would have to be there, I guess, on that time when that Don Lemon. I probably would never have been there, but just to find out the whole backstory, because they just walked in on a church and they were just like, I know he's part of the ISIS. We're just going to come here, and that's almost like causing problems, let alone trying to figure out what the problem is.
Yeah, and that seemed very seem like they trying to stir up energy with that or whatever versus get something solved. Whatever, you know, I'm really noticing that journalists' goal or to pull on heartstrings, whether it's heartstrings of disgust, heartstrings of sorrow, heartstrings of art, anger. You know, they're looking to pull on some type of negative heartstring that's gonna get you reactive in an anger or not so positive demeanor.
I had a conversation with a family member of mine earlier. Well, they were sending me voice messages, and they said that they found out they had to remove themselves from certain situation and certain people because they were reactive to them, because the person was uncontrolled, and because the energy is uncontrolled, you have to remove yourself, and you had to they had to let that person know that, you know, if you're like this with me, and I feel like I am easily to explode around you. Imagine what you're doing to other people around you. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but you have right now an active demeanor about you. And they were trying to get them to see it, but a lot of people don't see it. And a lot of people want to play victim after a certain circumstance happens, but yet you are the one that created it, whether you like to think it or not, because of you were activating that other person. Like that video you showed me about that girl that ran that person off the road, and I shared it. Like, she should have gotten in trouble. And that's just crazy. Abuse is abuse, no matter if it's from a girl or a guy to somebody else. That's still considered abuse. You shouldn't go around putting your hands or causing bodily harm to another individual because you can't control your emotions. I don't find that justifiable anywhere.
Yeah,
Do you know?
I thought that was completely fake until I looked it up. I thought that was like some cheap skit. I was like, this is not even acted right. Just to find out that was actually what happened. And I was like, oh, wow. And her justification for why she did it was like, how did he not know that she was that off before that moment?
And what is that off? Explain what that off is. Because what did she end up doing?
Like it was literally because he didn't give her phone back, and then when he gave the phone back, he looked at his friend and said something, which if you watch it again, he didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing at all about her, but she was like, oh, not. And then he turned around and he was chuckling. And to her, that just confirmed that he was talking junk about her. And then she wanted him to get out the car and come and say something to him. And he was like, no, I'm getting ready to leave with my friends. And she was not having it. I'm like, man, that ain't your first time knowing. You probably thought it was cute every other time she did that. Whatever, you know. And
Did
then
she end
she
up?
had a friend in the car too, so she probably felt embarrassed. She probably done told her friend, like, ah, yeah, he's gonna do whatever I say or whatever. And of course he didn't. So yeah, it just went,
She
oh
ended up
man.
his car and almost unalived him and his friend.
And then tried to get him to understand why she did it. I was like, oh wow.
And
Oh,
she's like, give me your phone right now. And he's like, why? Why do you want my phone? She said, because you were trying to go meet other girls. And I was just like, yeah, you're unstable.
yeah.
Welcome, Moon Tortoise.
Oh, hi, Badger. You give up
Do
on me
you?
too quick.
I don't give up on you. Do you
You were-
feel like? Do you feel like journalisms go too far sometimes?
Do I feel like who? Journalists?
Yeah,
I am a journalist.
I know.
It's
But
fun.
do you?
I'm not a good journalist, and I'm not going far enough. I think it's important to be without. You know, I was watching TV not too long ago, and I was watching what was his name? Mr. Brokaw getting dropped off in Vietnam, getting shot off and shit. And I'm like, man, that's some cool journalism right there. And I'm thinking, man, we need a steel knife to cut through the bullshit, and not just the normal top layer bullshit, but we need to get down to the meat of the bullshit. So I don't know. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the press? Because if you're talking about the press, CNN, Fox, all that stuff, you're talking about a complete system designed to divide and make people feel a certain type of way and completely get distracted from the bigger picture. So, you know, maybe we're the journalists, right? Maybe we got to be the journalists. Maybe that's why we started doing this, because we don't believe in that.
We are considered journalists, though. When you so.
Watch me go too far. Okay.
You know, I was talking about reactive people. Sometimes people just put themselves in situations so that they can trigger somebody else. And that's what S. Jeff Graham was saying too. And then I was talking about another situation I had with a family member, was saying that the person they no longer are talking to and around because they're just a reactive person. I feel that I surround myself around reactive people often. And I don't know if it's because of me feeling differently about this world than they do, or me being aware of really what's going on, awakened by what's going on. And I don't like to use the word awakened like that, but me just being conscious to know exactly what's going on and how the smoke screen is and what we're living in. It's hard to be conscious and know what's going on here and be okay with this world.
It is. In lovely Port Huron here, recently what you're known as a First Amendment auditor was harassing a meat market. Right, he was outside filming the inside of this meat market. Now, if you know about First Amendment auditors, are people who just film people to get reactions, to get a reaction out of them. And what happened is exactly what you think is going to happen. He got chased down by the owner, and he maced the owner. We believe that's how it went down, and now he's being held accountable. And it was all for nothing. When it comes to First Amendment audit, I think it's great that people have kept the checks on the police officers and what's going on, and keeping people on their toes. But there's an argument to be said we're just harassing people with the same rights that we have. So it's interesting.
I've seen so many circumstances where people are just need to control themselves, road rage, all this stuff. And this 30-something-year-old man end up unalive an 11-year-old boy by shooting at the vehicle, not knowing that there was a passenger in the car in the back seat. Yet the stepfather was the aggressor in the situation, older than all of them, and the aggressor. Yet the 31-year-old is in trial for this because they unalived an 11-year-old boy. I think everybody in the circumstance besides the 11-year-old boy should have been held accountable. I think it's two-way street. I don't think it should be just the person that reacted. I think it's the person that caused the reaction too should be in trouble.
Where were they going? It was so important to pull guns.
Well, it was a road rage thing. The father was dropping the boy off at school, but the father was the one that was being aggressive on the road. And the young man just defended himself and grabbed the gun, and not knowing that other young person was in the back of the car. But still, you don't just, you're mad, you don't pull out a gun to make it even.
Yeah. They make things even now, don't they?
That doesn't make it discriminate. And I've seen more than one case of that. I've seen it happen so many times that, people don't think. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, just recently in Port Huron, about a month ago, there was a road rage incident involving a man and a woman, and they got into an altercation at the little gas station right outside of town at the end of Pine Grove there by the old post office. And she shot him. And everyone at first was like, good for you. You go, girl. Don't take some shit from no man. Well, it turns out it looks like she was actually more in the wrong. She was just pissed off with the gun, and she shot the guy. And I guess he was a dad, and he was doing pretty good for himself. And it was just a stupid road rage incident. But he's dead. Kid without his father. She's in prison. De-escalate.
So my son lived in good old Flint, and this guy was taking forever at the store, and he was hitting on this girl and stuff like this. And my son was like, just get her number and get out of line. We all got somewhere to go. The guy got upset by my son's reaction. I'm sure my son wasn't that calm about it. And I'm sure he probably said some other things to the guy. But afterwards, the guy come out of the store. My son was out in the parking lot getting ready to get in the car with his brand new baby and his girl at the time. And that gentleman pulled out a weapon and pointed it at my son. And my son was like, really? Because I told you to hurry up so other people could get to the store too and do what they got to do, that you felt the need to take my life from me in front of my newborn son and my lady? Because of something I said? Not because of an action I did, because I told you to hurry to, and you might have swore him or whatever he might have said to him. But because I told you to get going and hurry up and get her number and get out of the way so other people could use the store too, that you felt the need to unalive me?
Over swearing. Swearing is so innocuous. You can actually cuss at cops all day if you want. It's not illegal. It's swearing.
I know so many people are reactive by swearing.
Yeah.
SGF Graham, you know people that are reactive by swearing?
They can get you for public disorder for too much swearing, and down south at least. They can't get you for necessarily swearing, but they can. All they got to do is say public disorder. You is making people feel uncomfortable, and police are considered people, and they ask you to be quiet a certain amount of times. What that certain amount is, I don't know, but um, I've seen people go down and it be marked as disorderly conduct.
Well, it certainly could. You'd have to be pretty disorderly.
I got threatened one time by an officer on Mackinac Island, and it wasn't the island, it was the city, Mackinac City. And we were at the bar, and this is one night before I decided to quit drinking, and I threw a bottle in the back seat, on the back of somebody's truck bed, and they told me they could get me for littering. And because I tried to plead the case that it was 10 cents, like, are you kidding me? I'm not littering. Really, I actually donated. And I was like a little obnoxious about explaining that because I was inebriated, that they tried to tell me that they could get me for disorderly conduct, being intoxicated in public, and something else with an officer, because I didn't just take the fact that I was going to get in trouble for littering. But yet, if I would have thrown in the trash can, the bum behind me would have picked it out of there. So,
Sure.
I don't know.
Maybe it was just your attitude. I don't know.
I'm a very friendly, intoxicated individual. Extremely too friendly. Very, you don't have personal space. And I'm like really flirtatious. So I might have been trying to come on to him. I don't know. Telling he was good looking or something, but I was doing probably the most.
That's a hefty fine. Hefty fine for doing the most, Badger.
I probably was doing the most, to be honest with you. That's why I stopped drinking, because I did the most.
I bet. My mom used to do that all the time, hit on officers to get them to leave her alone.
Hit on them.
Love the man in uniform.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what we talked about today. We talked about journalism, and there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And then some people are just reactive people. I think journalism should make a difference. I think if you're a journalist, you should be doing it with the intent to make a difference, not to cause more issues to whatever the circumstances may be.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, let's do positive things so we can wrap this one up. Thursday's going to be a really good show. Thursday's about remorse, survivor remorse, outgrowing your circle, and then feeling bad that you left some people behind and trying to bring them into your present and they just don't fit. But yet you keep doing it. So that's what we're going to talk about on Thursday. So let's do our positive messages. SGF Graham.
I ain't even thought about that. Let's come back to me.
Okay. Kendo.
Something tells me to respect the boundaries. If you want to do photography or journalism or whatever it may be, make sure you ask and just do what's right and be kind. There's a lot of jerks out there these days.
Okay. Mine is, if you want to cover whatever the cause may be, whatever the circumstances may be, make sure you're doing it with the intent of making it a better situation, not to cause more problems, because then you become part of the problem. Moon Tortoise?
I like that, Badger. Well, let's see. I had to drop in for my 2 cents. Thanks for having me. It was a wild journey.
Thanks for
And
having us.
and my positive quote is: there's a lot of news going around out there, both from major and minor sources, and the best news source you can have is your ears, your eyes, and your intuition. So
Yeah.
go with that first and use them. That's positive. Oh yeah, puppies and
Yeah.
kittens. There we go.
Puppies and kittens are always positive. SGF Graham.
I ain't got necessarily a positive quote, but something to think about. Before you go out there journalizing, trying to tell everybody's every awakening business, are you ready for somebody to journal your life and tell your every awakening business? You know, so just be careful. You trying to get off on somebody else's personal life when your personal life is just in shambles. Actually, this might be the time and era where putting your own personal life out there would actually go great because people will look at it as he's healing, she's healing, you know, so you can make a bunch of views putting your own life out there and looking like whatever you're trying to look like.
These awoken people are funny. So that was tonight's episode of the People's Podcast. We're the ears that listen, where your opinion matters. Don't just be the difference, become the difference. Until next time, and thank you for taking time out of your day to heal with us. May your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations, peace filled with love. Ashe, everyone.
Peace,
SGF,
peace.
SGF Graham, go on my post and post your puppies under my post. My post about the animals.
Oh, okay then. Okay then.
Use Kendall your kitties.
I was going to say, what about my Sphinx? She's a kitty. Okay.
All right. Night, everyone.
Peace, peace.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom of the truth is. With our hearts uncovered. Boy, detox from all of the lies you smothered. What them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.